People prove to us by their behavior that they can't even trust themselves. And we, like Momo, is trusting them when they have shown us, you can't trust me. What's going on, beautiful people? Now, this is my second video. I promised you a part 2 and giving you steps on what I've done to help, but also I found someone called Dr. Snips or Snipes, right? Let's get into this video. So we're talking about what betrayal does to you and how you can heal from betrayal, okay? What betrayal does to you and how you can heal from it. Basically, what Dr. Snipe is saying is that PTSD and PISD has the same kind of, signs, or it show up very similar. Someone who went away to fight in the war and someone who was betrayed by someone can have similar symptoms. Just process that. And I find that very mind-blowing because a lot of people take betrayal so lightly. Going over the event. And the thing about going over the event is that every time you think about this event, every time you go over this event, what is happening is you are experiencing it all over again. So that thing that happened to you 10 years ago, that you were thinking about today, you were feeling everything that you felt plus more from 10 years ago today. Right? And so when you are constantly going over these things, what you are doing is experiencing the trauma again and again. Other people will think about the good part of the relationship and kind of overlook or ignore what has happened or what is happening. And the thing about ignoring it or pushing it under the rug is that it's not getting solved. The problem is still there. And every time there's a little problem, here comes that ugly problem sticking his head out again. A skill that you can use to stop the thought in the process is stopping that thought and thinking about something else. Something for me is rewriting my story, telling a different story. Oh, you know what? We had a great time together, but our time came to an end. He went his way, I went my way, out of peace and out of love. And it's still pinch, but that's a better story than the other stories that I experienced. And the more I say that to myself, the more my body believes it, the more the pain gets less and less and less. And the point that I want to get to is where I can see someone that I've been with, that I date with, that I really commit with and feel nothing. I don't feel hate. I don't feel content. I don't feel love. I just feel like, hey, you're someone that I don't know anymore. You're a stranger to me. And we are very, kind in our exchange. You facing the thought, you noticing the thought, noticing that you're in this cycle of this thought going over and over again in your head, and you saying, you know what, I want to choose another thought. And this is the thought I'm going to choose. If you just stop the thought or try to stop the thought and not replace it, it's going to be quite difficult to change that thought with another thought. And I found that extremely helpful for my sake. Try it. Let me know how it works for you in the comment below. So if you're ruminating at night, and I found, so in 2019, I was diagnosed with health anxiety. And one thing that I realized about myself, that I was losing a lot of sleep because I was going through scenarios over and over again in my head at night, and so I could not sleep. And by the time it came day, my eyes been open from night to day, and then my body will literally just give out, right? And what I learned about myself is I am going over scenarios over and over again. What I have done after giving myself grace, right, is I started listening to sleep meditation, sleep affirmation, playing music that's gonna assist with my sleep at night. I also find that certain routines help me, whether if that was not sleeping throughout the day, keeping active throughout the day, eating a certain way. Now, there are times like recently, like 3 weeks ago, my daughter got me hooked on a Korean series, and that took me out. But praise God, completed the series. And now I know you're asking about the series. I'll put it in the video because I can't remember. But um, I had to work. If you're someone who struggles with sleep and it get interrupted, like me with a series or however, I had to work again in getting my sleep pattern back on track. Okay, but because I've hacked it so well, I was able to get back, sleeping at a decent time around 11, 12, 1, where before around 5, 6, 7, I'm still awake. So that's a big improvement. And to be interrupted and still be able to get that sleep flow back, perfect. Another thing that extremely helped me, these are habits, may I just say, that some of them I already had, okay? Some of them I had because I've been through such, breakup before, you know. And so being able to bring these habits forward again to help through my healing and my becoming and, you know, has been quite helpful. But it takes practice. It takes time. And if you've been through betrayal, let me just say my heart goes out to you. Okay. I feel like my video before and my video now, I can have more compassion to both of you guys. So I had therapy between these videos. And one thing that I learned in my therapeutic session where I was the client is that sometimes, or most of the time, we are coming from childhood traumas and we're bringing that into our relationships, into our marriage. And I can see the evil in, my partner. My partner can see the evil in me, or your partner see the evil in you. You see the evil in them or the darkness in them. But what we don't realize is that we're both struggling with something that we collected from our past, in our childhood, in our adolescence. And I think that for me kind of softened my heart towards myself, because I know that I play a part in my relationships and to the other person, right? Just a little sprinkle around. Journaling and re-scripting and answering the questions in your head. So journaling is you just pouring out, putting everything on paper. Re-scripting is you changing your story to empower, to bring peace and love and centering back to you. And answering your question is, if you have a question like, why did they do this? Why me? Am I not beautiful? You answer that. You are absolutely beautiful. Why they did it, you might never know, and it is okay. Have peace with knowing that they made a choice and that choice does not reflect you. About you, but you will have these memories that just come out the blue, or these thoughts that come out the blue when you've been betrayed, right? I definitely have had those where I'm minding my business and a thought just come out of nowhere. Now, I will do the same with those thoughts. I will re-script them, or I will change that thought. Oh, he left because of this, or you weren't good enough. And I'll change that thought to, you know what? I am perfect. I am enough. I am love. I am beautiful, right? Change the thought, okay? I am worthy of love. And these thoughts can also become affirmations. These thoughts can also be something that you meditate and you dwell on instead of the negative, intrusive thought. Dr. Snipes said, guided thinking, right? So it's where you are intentionally envisioning or seeing something that is going to give you peace, comfort, keep you in a safe place, keep your emotions safe, keep you safe, keep your mind safe, right? Sometimes when those thoughts come, we can dwell on them and it goes into a loop of a thought. It continues. Whereas if you can change that thought and meditate and visualize something more beautiful and peaceful and safe, then you're able to rest better, fall asleep with a good mind, and not be up overthinking. Another thing that I would definitely put in there is guided meditation while you're asleep, for sleep. That has been, I don't know, a big, massive help for me. So if you are struggling with sleeping because you have these thoughts, try switching that thought over, try visualizing, and try guided meditation. Remember, journaling. I will always throw in here prayer. I will always throw in here speaking to the Most High and really diving into a word, a chapter, a verse that's gonna keep your mind at peace. I don't know about you, but I find myself feeling numb, putting out walls, or disassociating or dysregulating from my world because of my trauma, right? I don't know about you, but I've had to give myself grace to know, hey, you've been through some shit right now. So it is okay to endure, to go through, or to feel this, to sit with this, to not feel anything at all. It is okay. The goal is to, I guess, become aware of it when you are ready or in good timing so that you can work through or take steps in working through that process. Because I can understand why someone will go numb. I can understand why someone would disassociate, dysregulate. Dysregulation is basically where you are so emotionally heightened and aware that things that don't usually bring out that raw or that, anger or that frustration in you will then bring it out because you already heightened from the betrayal. If you're going through this where you're dysregulating or you're over responding because obviously you are hurt, you are wounded, one of the things that I will say is, if you can practice mindfulness or grounding yourself. Grounding yourself is becoming aware of where you are right now. It is being, okay, I'm sitting here in this chair. It is green, it is soft. It is feeling the light in my eyes, that is not too warm, nor is it too cold. That my feet is in my slippers, on the floor of my slippers is squishy, and that I'm safe. It's become coming back to self, coming back in the present. Is quiet, extremely quiet in my house. Why? Because my kid's not here, right? It's grounding yourself, okay? It can be mindfulness, okay? Anything that grounds you, bring you back to the presence to let you know that, hey, you are safe. You are in good hands right now. Sometimes you can avoid these situations. Avoid going to the restaurant that you and your partner used to go to. Avoid going the way that you used to go. Or avoid eating something that's going to bring strong memories, strong connections, strong emotions. But after a while, you got to understand that you're going to have to face some stuff, face some feelings, face some memory. And therapy, hello. Therapy has been such a massive thing for me. Not only digging into myself and my past and my trauma, but also digging into where I went wrong and to see the other person in a different light, in a more loving and understandable light. And see where two traumas can actually harm in each other unintentionally. Not that you guys do not love each other or care for each other. It's just that you have not worked through what you had to work through to get healthier results. Right? When I went through one of my sessions, really brought back how my relationships really mirrored my, my childhood and how I was parent, right? And it's like you get comfortable and used to that, and so that's what you know, and that's what you go back to. So I can understand avoiding some things, but at the same time there come a time that you have to face them, or there's ways where you can remarry or remerge things that used to do with your partner with something else and create new memories. Another thing I would say is definitely, what did you learn from this relationship? You know, no blame, no pointing finger. How could you have made better choices? What did you overlook in the beginning in yourself and in the other person? How could you have worked on even better in the relationship, whether that was pre-counseling, counseling throughout the first year, right? Did you jump in it too soon? A lot that I reflect on. You know, I have a habit of getting into things really quick. I have a habit of looking past what we would call red flags. I have a habit of thinking that I know someone, thinking that I know their intention, thinking that I know what they want from me, and getting it all wrong, right? I must can say the other day I came to a place where I'm like, I keep getting this thing wrong. And after listening to a podcast that I tend to listen to quite a lot, I realized, you know, I have to still have hope, because a lot of the time I was naive, I was young, I was silly, I was free, and I'm in a different space now. And so if you can really look and just sit with yourself and look at how you could do better, how you could have done better, what you could have done different, all this will be lessons that you are taking away that is only going to be beneficial to you. Just because you went through one thing with one person doesn't mean the other person is going to do it to you. I've not really been that lucky, but okay, I hear you. Um, but to not hold people hostage, but check the behavior. Like if you see a behavior that you can remember someone else doing to you and it didn't bring peace, goodness, it brought harm, be able to confront that person in a very open way that, hey, I see you doing this, and in my mind, this is what it means, but I want to come to you and I want to ask you, what does this mean for you? Right? What is behind this behavior? You know, and I feel like if it's a safe person, they're going to be able to reassure you. And if it's not, it might cause an argument. But either way, you confronted it, you brought it to the surface, you did not assume, you did not have a bad attitude because you thought something, but you was respectful, you was mature, and you brought your insecurity, your vulnerability to the person that you thought your feelings would be safe with. And if you watched my previous video, I clearly said people you feel safe with. And some of us have a habit of of being open and giving so much to people that we are not safe with. And time again, we can feel, we can sense, we can experience unsafe situation with these people time and time again, and time again, we allow them back into our space. I am no longer there, and I hope that you're not, but I hope if you are, that you are working to no longer be there, where you can become so safe and secure in yourself that when you spot someone causing you to feel on edge, anxious, and unsafe, you are able to question them, check them, and disassociate back up, because it's very necessary in keeping you safe. If they cannot reassure you, if their behavior underlying behavior cannot reassure you and give you peace. I've definitely learned behavior speaks louder than words, so it's up to you. That's just every betrayal, every pain, every hurt have an effect on our self-esteem, have an effect on how we view ourselves, how we feel about ourselves. And oh my God, last year I took a hit. I will always and forever remember 2023. Last year I reached one of my lowest points in my entire life. In comparison, in 2020, 2014, when I was suicidal, last year was twinning, or probably out one, outrun 2014, where I was in a very, very dark, depressive, and suicidal place. And it took a big hit on my self-esteem. It took a big hit on my identity. It took a big hit on who am I? And I realized I didn't really know who I was. I've been searching, and I'm finding little bits of her. But it definitely made me realize how disassociated I have become, or I had become, with me. I didn't know who I was. I'm still getting to know who I am. But I realized that I took so much and I lost so much self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence. And betrayal will do that to you. And the best way that I can say to you to come out of that is go easy with yourself. Learn what makes you feel safe again. Learn and go through what you have to go through to kind of clean your wounds. You're licking your wounds, and be gentle with you. Be gentle with you. The outbursts, the downs, the highs, the lows, the roller coasters that you will encounter on the way of really realizing the depths of hurt and pain that you are cleaning yourself up from. And that is not easy for you or your other person, at all. But the one who's on the other side of the betrayal, mostly having a drum roll, a support system, which I felt like I lost most of mine. One thing, I'm smiling on my face, I'm crying in my heart. One thing I realize is sometimes we get into relationships and we cut off the most important source of support that we've had all our life for someone we just met. Never again. And I encourage you, never cut off people or be forced to cut off family, friends, loved ones who have been there for you since you were in diapers, for anyone you just met. If I ever find myself in a situation where I need to choose between people I knew all this time between you I just met, it'll be them. And the reason why is unless it's a relationship that is harmful to me, I have no business cutting anyone off for anybody else mind. I don't. I feel like I hold myself in such a place where if I'm for you, I am for you, period. I can be in the same room with my ex, I wouldn't even blink an eye. And if we don't have that connection and that trust and security in each other, I leave it. Unless I've proven to you that I'm a person that you cannot trust, or this person crosses boundaries with you, not under my watch, there's no reason. There's absolutely no reason. So if you do have that support system, still fall back on them. If you don't, and you can rebuild it, try and rebuild your support system. When I'm going through a lot, I can go ghost, and that's because I'm dealing with a lot. And sometimes that goes through because you're embarrassed, you're ashamed, or you're just overwhelmed. And I want you to know, give yourself grace and give yourself time. If you can, just poke someone and be like, hey, I'm going through some stuff. I'm okay. When I'm ready, I will let you know. I will speak with you. Another thing is, I had to face the fact that me getting angry when someone is disrespecting me or causing me harm is absolutely okay. For some reason, I had become enemies with my anger. And it took me a day where I absolutely lost my shit to realize that my anger is a form of protection for me. And maybe I did not know how to use it as yet, or to harness it, to use it in a healthier way. But sometimes we find ourselves in some bullshit where our anger comes out so hard. Not that you have not communicated your needs or how this person is crossing your boundaries, but because you have communicated, you have drawn your boundary lines, and they still poke and they still step over it, and so you act the fool. And I had to come to a place where I'm like, Ken, you're acting a fool for a good damn reason. This person keeps taking the piss, right? But I had to learn, what do I do after this? After I feel this anger, after I explode numerous amount of time, what do I do if it keeps happening? It's no longer a them thing, it's a me thing. Why am I keep putting myself in a place where I am triggered, where I feel unsafe, where I feel like this is not healthy for me at all? And so I had to really self-reflect and look within to, why am I doing this? Why, if I don't feel okay with this person, if I don't feel safe with this person, do I keep coming towards this person? I've also found not only just childhood traumas and things that you are used to. If you're used to a, very violent or vulgar or loud or very aggressive environment, that's what you go to if you're used to that, right? On top of that, found that some people, you can trust them with bits of your life, like parenting. I trust you to parent your kids. I trust you to take care of that. I trust you to do this, but I just don't trust you with me. And sometimes you find yourself back and forth with someone because you trust them with bits of your life, but you just don't trust them with you. And you think you're going back because you feel this trust, but this trust isn't a trust with you, it's a trust with other things. Maybe the bills, maybe the kids, maybe the bin, maybe the dishes, but just not with me. And sometimes people prove to us by their behavior that they can't even trust themselves, and we, like Mumu, is trusting them when they have shown us, you can't trust me. I'm gonna step over your boundaries. You can't trust me. I'm gonna lie to you. You can't trust me. I'm gonna take the piss out of you. You can't trust me, but still, we'll go. And that's where I find detachment. You'll see this video coming up soon, and emotional intelligence, becoming aware of yourself and doing the work to make sure you make the right decisions for you and your emotional, mental safety. I'm going to end this video here, but keep an eye out for my next video.